Hello and welcome back. Welcome back to part four and the last part of how to create a welcome screen for an Android game app you're developing. To quickly do a recap, part one and part two was to create this screen that you're looking at on your screen right now in our emulator. And part three was to delete I guess a title bar that was up here and to make the program display this first before you click your icon. And this is where we're at now. If you go back and you click your icon, now I have several versions of the game on my emulator, but I know the icon for this game is this one here, the far left one. If I click on it, the page shows up first, where before it would go straight to the game. So we had now connected this welcome page to our game, and it works fine. The only thing, and this last thing, part four is to give the actions to these both buttons. Right now they don't do anything. Launch the game, exit, and that's what this is for. What you can do is go ahead and just click on your Eclipse in the back here so you can bring it forward and bring the emulator to the rear. And these are the three pages that we have up so far that we've been changing. Now the last part we need to do is we're going to open up one of these pages that we already have changed. And the one is this one in the middle called welcome screen.java up here in the top tab of the work area. Just click on that, welcome screen.java. And this is going up. As you remember, the only thing we did on this page is put this code line in, one line that says don't show that title bar. And as you see there was no title bar there. Now we're going to say, okay, now these buttons, you identify these buttons, and then we're going to put the action, the method that those buttons be able to accomplish once they see a on touch event. So basically, you're going to go to your equivalent to line 14, which is this last line right here. Just click at the end of it. I hit enter twice to create some space, and now I'm going to start creating the instant button. I'm going to say there's something out there called a button, so you know that it is there. And we're just going to be called button 1. Now this is the reference button to our first button, and we know the first button that we put on the page was the button to launch the game. Now real quick, I'll leave this here just for a second. And where did I get this button 1? I told you to write it down, but just in case you forgot, you go back to the welcome screen.xml. If you click on button 1 and you look at the property boxes here on the right, you'll see that button 1 is here. If you click on the boxes on the work area of exit, the exit button, you see that the ID says it's button 2. And those are where I'm getting those letters. Those are the references for those buttons. If you look at the welcome screen.xml over here in the work area, the bottom tab, you click on it to see the code of the XML that displays the file. You notice that here's a button and it says button 1. And you see button 1 is for the string for launching the game. And here's button 2. And it says here button 2, and it's for exiting, the button that exits the game. So that's where we're getting all this information on. So let's hit the graphical layout button, get back to our home page. Let's get back on the top and click on the welcome screen.java and continue typing our code. I just want to show you that for a second. So that's where we're getting it from. If you guys didn't write it down like I told you, and I told you I was going to show you. Okay. D will be button 1. It always does this to me. Okay, and now we're going to say button 1. This is the listener. We're going to create a listener for button 1, and all the listener does is says, okay, I know there's a button 1 because you told me there's a button 1, and I'm going to now listen to an on-touch event. So if anyone touches my button, anybody touches the screen, I'll be able to check to see if it's actually my button that's been touched. If it is, I'm going to do my method. Or if not, I'm just going to go on and let someone else look at it and see if it's theirs. Okay, now that's the listener, and now we're going to create what they call the actual method of what this button does once you touch it, and it's called method here in Java. It's really the action of what that button does. It tells you, oh, it's been touched. Here's the action. This is what you need to do. It's not too difficult. I'm using, as you see on the top here, a boolean method. A boolean means you either it's true or false. Is it going to be false? Main. return false. I have to research why it returns false. I'm not exactly clear, and I don't want to confuse anyone and say the wrong thing, so I'll leave it as just return false. Okay, now we're looking at this. This is our button. Now here's the instant we're saying there is a button out there, and we're referring to it as button 1. We're also saying that button 1 has a listener, so listen for any event, and then once if someone touches on that button and it's your button, then create this method. And this method basically says launch the game, and this is the start activity for result of this intent, which is the first intent, what they call intent 0. So okay, that's what it tells you where you can find this intent. So anyways, this is how it works. Now I know I have 2 buttons. We all know we have 2 buttons. So what I'm going to do is, so I don't type this whole thing up and save some time. Okay, sometime here. Just highlight this whole button, copy it, and make some space and just paste it. Now you're going to have what they call 2 buttons doing the exact same things. And of course, we don't want 2 buttons doing the exact same thing. But I do it this way because when I start correcting errors, you're going to have typos, and then you're going to have where you need library files put back in. Those are the 2 main ones. So by creating both, if I put one library file, then all the, I don't have to worry about the typos. The typo, if I find a typo up here, I know it's down there, and that way they're the same typo, not different ones. It'll be easier to find all my typos. But once I do these 2 buttons, I know that, well, this is the first button. I know this can't be the first button because the other button is button 2, right? I already showed you where to see that. So wherever you see a button 1, just change it to 2, and now you're referencing the second button, and the second button has a listener now. So now we have 2 buttons that do the exact same thing. Well, we don't want 2 buttons to do the exact same thing. We want one to finish the game and one to launch the game. Well, button 1 launches the game, and we know button 2 finishes the game. So you're going to highlight these 2 lines in this method, and we're going to tell it, you know what? Just finish the game. That's what you want you to do. We want you to finish things. So now we got 2 buttons. One launches the game right here, and one finishes the game, because that's the exit button. So now we're going to start correcting error. Like I said before, the easiest error to correct is when if you look up here, is because you need to import a library for those buttons, and we all know about library files. So what we're going to start doing is looking for anything that needs a button. So I'm going to start here in the top. I'm going to look at this OnTouch listener. We look at it. There's no import a library file, so we're going to skip that because that's a little difficult problem. So let's go over here to this listener on the same line. We're going to scroll down in the hint box. There's no listener in there, so okay, OnTouch doesn't need a listener, but there is something here that says intent. Now the first in the hint box says, yeah, you need to import library file. Click on that, and as you can see up here on the top, the intent library file was created. The intent error went away. Let's look at this view right at the top of this line and see if it has. Oh, yep, it sure does. It has an import a view. So we're going to click on that. So the library file up here on top says view has been imported. That's great. So let's see what else is here. There's 2 errors on these OnTouch listener. These are what I consider the harder ones. So let's go back and really check if we have any misspelled words. Set OnTouch listener, new, set OnTouch. Oh, there it is. Well, here is an error. It's an N. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go down here, get rid of this N, and get rid of that because they're both there. Let's hover. If that does anything for motion, no. Let's hover this OnTouch that we created. Up there it is. Here is an import a library file OnTouch listener. So we corrected this problem. So let's click on that. Let's scroll up and we can see the listener was pulled in. That's great. Put in for us. The OnTouch listener is there. There's something going on. Now sometimes if we corrected this, but they got another error, so we know they're spelled correctly. Sometimes you may have to hit save to get rid of some of these errors. But let's look at the motions. I got a feeling these OnTouch ones, if we hit enter, it'll disappear. But let's see on this motion. No, and there's some error. Oh, this error is a weird error. I know what's missing. It goes with this opening, this part here. It has to be closed. I know that for different reasons. But I see that box is out. Here's another one. I guarantee we have to close that if it's up there. Oops. And now we've just got these 2. Okay, I'm going to hit the save button just because I want to see if something happens to this. So I'm going to go to the top left hand side, hit the save button. It's saved. The errors are still there. It must be the motion issue because they're spelled right. there is no import, but because I've done program before and done other programs, I know this requires a library, but it's not showing us. That's something about trusting too much on the hint boxes. Sometimes they do not give you everything you know. So by doing other programs and actually doing this several times, I know that the motion is going to be needed. I believe it's MOTIN event. And okay, I put it in there. Oh, there it is. Now not only did not correct it corrected the motion, you notice it corrected this on touch error for some reason. And that's only because I've done this program before. I've done others. I know motion needs a library. And so I did that one because I remember that. How would you know? It comes with experience. So there it is. There's no more red in our program. The program does have a red in it, but I know if you hit save, that will disappear. You look at over here on the left-hand side of Project Explorer, they have red. Let's hit the save button. And all the red boxes in the Project Explorer for that program is gone. The red box on near the Welcome Screen.java tab is gone. So it should work perfectly. So let's go ahead and launch our game here now. I'm going to hit launch. I'm going to bring the emulator. Oh, the emulator came up on its own. And we're going to see how it works. It's relaunching. Off screen, I think I might have closed it, so that's why it's relaunching the whole thing. So sorry about that. Here it is. I'm going to go to the menu button here on the right, click it, and I'm going to, and it launches itself, and there it is. Now here's our screen. This again was supposed to put functionality or some method or action to these both buttons. So let's try to launch the game. The game's launching and it works. Let's return back to this page. So let's hit exit. And that works. Let's do it one more time. Go to all the icons. Now I got several versions like I said before. And this icon I know is the one that runs my game. So I'll click on it and it's up and running. Launch the game. Yes. Let's hit the return arrow back in the right here, and we're back. Now I hit the exit button, and we're done. That's it. Let's bring that up one more time, but that's it for this game. This is how to insert this game as you see on your screen, the Kill Them All welcome screen, and the buttons work, and you launches the game, and so that's it. This is the end of part 4. It took 4 parts to make this welcome screen work, and I hope it was able to help you, and I hope I wasn't talking too quickly. And if you notice, sometimes I got confused because the program sometimes work as it's used to, just like when I was over here in the next page and I was changing the property boxes, something went a little haywire. Sometimes that's the first time it did that, or the second time it did that. Sometimes it works like you think it will, and sometimes it doesn't work for some reason. That's just some glitch that Eclipse had. But as you see, the welcome screen works perfectly. If you have any questions, let me know. This will conclude this tutorial. This tutorial was how to add a welcome screen to an Android game app that you are developing. It took 4 parts, 4 tutorials. This is the last one. Thanks a lot for listening, and good luck, everybody.